So, this is another chapter I was reading from the book of Thresholds that I wrote in July 2025. And the name of this chapter is Love Thresholds. And let me first read a few lines from this chapter, and then I'll talk more. Mornings that once began with rushing around for someone who never truly saw me turned into mornings with myself. I would sit quietly, no performance, no waiting for a reply, just a cup of tea, and the kind of conversations I had spent years longing to have with someone else. I realized I wasn't empty anymore. I didn't need their nod, their glance, their words to feel loved. I was already holding that space for myself. So, this chapter I wrote almost an year back, and I was recently reading it today. I mean, for 1 year, I haven't touched this book at all. And I was reading the chapters one by one, and this is one of the chapters there. And when I read this chapter again this time, this chapter honestly took my breath away. I meant, I mean, when I actually wrote it, I can't recall whether I was so clear or not, but this is the first time today when I feel so clear about love, I guess. I mean, the word of love I created for myself earlier and thought it was a kind of golden flower was in fact a golden cage I was sitting in. And no one actually confined me there. I did those honors myself. That's how we create stories around us and we stay in them because that eventually becomes our comfort zone. And as we have built our lives around that story, denying that it's not a reality is so not done. It's just uncomfortable. I mean, the illusion of love and the reality of love has as much difference as day and night, and but crossing that gap actually takes more than 24 hours than it usually takes between a day and a night. And crossing that huge difference sometimes can take years, sometimes decades, to realize that it was in fact the cage. And you know what's more mesmerizing is to realize that its door was always open forever. And there wasn't any lock. We just pretended it to be locked because stepping out of it would mean the illusion breaks, and so does our story, and so does us. But that's the fear. That's, I think, just the fear when we are inside that cage. And once we take the taste of that free air beyond that cage, no, we immediately realize how polluted the air was inside the cage. And all it took was courage and trusting that the love story that you were trying to build in that cage lies within you, and it will kind of evolve in fresh air, not in that polluted air. But this realization sometimes take all your life and sometimes beyond that. And as I read this chapter again, I also realized that fresh air actually feels refreshing. And I still would like to keep returning to this chapter myself whenever I again feel the need to create that golden cage again.